All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, guys, I'm going to be talking about Henry Cavill. After hearing the unfortunate and sad news that he was injured on set of the Highlander film. And so hearing that news, and then I've been thinking about this for a while, you know, and I'm thinking, is his career cursed? Because it just seems like he just doesn't have any luck or anything like that. It seems like everything goes bad for this guy when he gets a role or he's up for a franchise. It just doesn't work out. And to me, it just doesn't make sense because Henry Cavill has everything you need to be a superstar. He has it. I mean, he has the look, women desire him, men respect him, and are inspired to be just like him. Hey, we all know Man of Steel, that's many of people to hit the gym. I mean, yours truly. And so it's not only that too. It's like, he's a true fan. He respects the characters, he respects the fans, he respects the lore. Nowadays we have the creatives behind a lot of these franchises and actors where if they're asked, hey, did you look at any source material to find inspiration for the character or where to go? And a lot of them are like, no, and I have no plans of doing it. It's just a very they're very dismissive of fans and just, the stuff that goes along with that. And so Henry Cavill, he's not like that. And you would think somebody like that shows the respect and the love for the fans would get the love back. So, I got to thinking and I was like, maybe there's a reason for that. Maybe, unfortunately, he's in the class of people, what they like to call box office poison. Now, there have been many actors who, throughout the years or in recent memory, that you would throw in the box office poison category. You have such actors and actresses as Taylor Kitsch, Katherine Heigl, Michael Cera, Clive Owen, Jai Courtney, Megan Fox, Lindsay Lohan, Mike Myers. That's just to name a few. Now, the thing about being box office poison, you can get out of it. There's actors who were considered box office poison that turn things around. So like you have somebody like Ryan Gosling or Ben Affleck are guys who initially they were considered box office poison, but they turned it around. Or if you want to go the franchise route, that's what people have been trying to do the last 10 years is, man, if I get on this franchise, it could take my career to new heights. And the thing about getting on a franchise, that's great in a sense, because, we have people such as RDJ, Robert Downey Jr., and Ryan Reynolds who have associated themselves with just a franchise. Now, the problem with that is yeah, you make a lot of money, you get a lot of notoriety, and you're known for that character. But if you look at those two actors, that's all they're known for. It's the double-edged sword. Like when you see, Robert Downey, or when you think of Ryan Reynolds, you think of Deadpool, you think of Robert Downey Jr., you think of Iron Man. I personally think, and I think a lot of people think that's partially the reason why Robert Downey Jr. is coming back to the MCU is because, for one, they're desperate. Two, they gave him a boatload. They backed several Brinks trucks to his house. And the third one is he really didn't have anything going. Yes, he won an Oscar for God damn, I can't think of the film. I'll put it on the screen, but Oppenheimer. He won an Oscar for Oppenheimer. But outside of Oppenheimer, he was nothing but flops. So I think, that's the one thing about being connected to a franchise. Yes, it helps, but it also can be a double-edged sword for you. So, and Henry's tried that. That's the thing. Henry has tried that. Of course, I think about it. He was a good sport about it. It is what it is. But then he got on to The Witcher. Now, for me, he was the reason why I watched The Witcher, because I'll tell you right now, I don't know anything about the lore or history of The Witcher. I barely knew it was a video game, but I didn't know it was, I think it's like a book series as well. I didn't know any of that. I just knew it was like a video game. And the only reason why I tuned in was because of Henry Cavill. But of course, because of the state of, media and all that, everybody given their takes on things, the creators behind The Witcher, they had problems with Cavill because he was questioning them about, hey, why is he doing this? This should be this, because he was a fan of the source material. And so that rubbed them the wrong way. And they said oftentimes they would make fun of him, uh trying to think of the term I heard. Oh, they were calling him a gamer bro and all this other stuff. So it just was bad for him. And of course, he tapped out. And so, once he left, I mean, poor Liam Hemsworth, I mean, it is what it is. No fault of his. He just took the job, but it's definitely, it's the end. It's not getting any love. And so once again, a guy who has everything it takes to be a star, once again, he tries the franchise routes and that doesn't work. So, like I said, all in all, it doesn't make sense. I guess it goes to show that likability does not equal film success. But I also think because of how the culture was trending, that might have effect, because Henry, there was a couple of he got some guff in an interview where he talked about like pursuing women like the old school way of doing it, and he has those kind of sensibilities. And so they, a lot of people didn't like that, and they gave him a hard time about it. So I think when they look at Henry Cavill, he just reminds them of a time of yesteryear, which the box office has proven that's what we want. That's why Top Gun Maverick and films like that have still kicking ass, because we still want that form of masculinity. But I looked at his filmography, excuse me, folks, over the last 10 years, outside of DC. And I mean, I guess you could probably give him the stamp of box office poison, because you look at Man of Uncle, flop, which I would consider would be his James Bond audition, which I think other people would as well. The Ministry of Gentlemanly Warfare, and Argyle, Bombs, they all flopped. And those were like his vehicles. He was like the man in those, and they flopped. And so my only hope now is, once again, he's got two franchises. He's got this Highlander, which hopefully if he knocks it out of the park, he can get sequels and build it up and have his own little thing. And then the Warhammer series, which I don't know anything about. I think that's like a video game, but they got him locked in on that. So hopefully those take off for him, because to me, he should have been James Bond. He should have been the choice right after Daniel Craig. But at this point, Henry Cavill, he's a year younger than me. So I'll be 43, and I think he's about to be 42. And he's sort of getting to that age where, the younger guys are going to be taking some of those roles, those action roles. But then again, he looks good for his age. So he might be able to pull it off. I mean, I'm rooting for the guy. Like I said, how could you not? Like I said, I think he's one of the good guys that is in the business. And I really hope these two franchises work out. But just to wrap this up, like I said, guys, just a question for you. Do you think his career is cursed, or is it just box office poison? And do you think that he'll turn it around? Because I mean, he's 40 plus right now. It's very hard to do that. And especially we're living in the times where there are no movie stars left. I think Tom Cruise is probably the last of the movie stars. And then there's a few that I would consider solid, like, Brad Pitt, I guess you could say Denzel. There are certain that, like, they tend, the movies they put out, they tend to, break even or, make a roll. They're the kind of people that draw people out to the movies. Like, hey, I'm gonna go check out this Denzel movie, or I'm gonna see this Brad Pitt movie. Like I saw F1, kind of thing. So we all thought The Rock was gonna be that guy, but his ego got way too big and he destroyed his shit. And it's funny because his ex-wife, and represents him and Henry Cavill. Go figure, what do you know? So yeah, guys, before I get out of here, like I said, my question to you is, do you think Henry can recover from this? Or do you just think he's box office poison and, he may just, Hollywood, they may move on from him It wouldn't be the first time, not to put him in the same category, but I did mention Jai Courtney earlier, Sam Worthington. Remember, they were trying to make those guys a thing, and they kind of just Hollywood kind of moved on from them. But I think Henry might have a better chance than those guys. So yeah, get in the comments. Let me know what you think about that. And guys, like I always say, if it's for 1 minute, 5 minutes, the whole damn video, I appreciate you taking time out of your day to view my content. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe, smash the like, get in the comments. And yeah, it's your boy P signing off, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.